Hello guys and welcome back to another UCL fantasy video. Today I'm going to showcase to you a list of players of the best budget / cheap options that you can get. Some players that you may see here are cheap in a sense for what they will offer to the game, not relative to their position. For example, I might showcase to you a 5.5 defender, but that plays out of position, or a defender that costs less compared to his counterpart in that area, and you can benefit from that performance as well. If you enjoy such type of content and want to see more UCL fantasy and FPL content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can join the mini league. It is up in the description, the league code. You can see it, you can copy it, and you see it down in the description as well. Direct link that you can join the mini league. Now we're going to go team by team, position by position, so this video is going to be very long. I will be trying to stay on some structure, but of course you can skip throughout the video and find a team that you are interested in. Starting now with a team like Ajax, and of course starting with their goalkeepers. 4.5 for Pasvier. I don't think that this is a good position to invest in. I think that there are other 4.5 keepers, so we skip through. Then we go to the defenders. Two defenders are 4.5, everything else is 4.0. So interesting to see how they will set up into the future. But if you're interested in some Ajax defender, you can get them for 4 million if they are nailed starters and you can use them. Generally, I don't feel like using an Ajax player to start the season with, because for example, they start with Inter, Chelsea. Yeah, Marseille is an interesting game, but Inter and Chelsea are two bad fixtures. Then Galatasaray and Benfica. I think after game week 3, you may look at them and avoid the hard fixture of Benfica and Villarreal somehow. But yeah, you can use them against Galatasaray, Karabakh and Olympiacos in that sense. But for now, I would be staying away from those Ajax players. Moving into midfield, the cheapest option here that I can get, let me sort them by price because this will be easier, is this guy Berghaus. I think that Berghaus will be one of the players that you can get. For 5 million, you're getting a starter from their team playing an attacking midfielder position, or sometimes as a right winger. And that of course can help you massively if you're looking for an attacker, especially down the road. And 5 million is very cheap and you can afford it easily. Moving then into the forward line, we have Weghorst, Akpom. I don't like these price points. If some of these guys down below appear as an option, I will inform you, but for now I'm steering clear out from that. Moving then into Arsenal, this is one of the favorites this season for the tournament, and we start immediately with Raya at 5.5. I don't fancy that much Raya at 5.5, to be fair. I don't know. At some point I might play him if I'm looking for an Arsenal defender to have, but at the moment I think that I will not be selecting Raya, but he's cheaper than the most expensive keeper, so you can get him for a little bit cheaper and have him in your team. Moving into the defensive department, and here are some interesting options to discuss. Hincapié has not been added to the game yet, but we have Saliba, who is 6 million, but he got the most points out of their defenders, and that's why. Gabriel at 5.5, already in my team. He's cheaper than his counterpart, and I think that he will be playing every game possible. They start well with Atletico, Bilbao, Atletico Madrid, Olympiacos, Slavia Praha, then it's Brugge in 6, Kairat in 8. So if you can somehow avoid Matchday 5, I think you can hold, and Matchday 7, let's say, but you can hold those defenders even in these particular games, as this is an Arsenal defense. The more interesting options appear onto the right back position and onto the left back position. I don't know if Hincapié will be immediately into the squad, but someone like Timber or Ben White, if we know the starter, at 5 million may give you more points compared to Gabriel or Saliba. And especially at left back, if we say that Calafiori is nailed and he will be playing instead of Luis Kelly, at 4.5 you're getting a starting Arsenal defender. The bad thing is that in any point during the tournament, they can be swapped, and that will not be very good for you. You can say that Mosquera will be used instead of Saliba and Gabriel, but I just don't see it. Managers don't tend to swap their defensive options in the center back rotation that much. But if we keep seeing Calafiori playing instead of Luis Kelly, I think that this 4.5 position will be good to invest into. Moving into midfield, they have so many midfielders. Saka, not optimal price, 9.5. You're getting him for the same price as Yamal, which I don't like. Odegaard, 8.5, no thank you. As he has been added as a 7.5, he's basically the same price as Martinelli, and this can be a position where if he nails it down, you can start investing into. Rice at 7 million, he's too expensive, but for those 71 points, he was the highest scoring midfielder from Arsenal, so I understand it. Merino, Madueke, Zubimendi, Nwaneri, Norgard. If some of those cheap options like Madueke, Nwaneri, even Merino keep performing, you can get him into your side, but to start the season, I don't fancy it that much. And up front, Gyökeres is 9 million. He's a little bit cheaper than someone like Lautaro Martinez, so I'm not a big fan of. So here, the Arsenal defense is going to be an interesting position to invest. 5.5 for a keeper that is a premium keeper, basically, but is a little bit underpriced in my opinion. Then Gabriel at 5.5 compared to Saliba, he's underpriced. Then you have the left back at 4.5. I think if one of them gets injured and Hincapié doesn't start as left back, I don't know what will be the plan there, but he might start playing at left back and start rotating with Calafiori, and just Luis Kelly is used as a midfielder. A lot of things can happen, and the right back is a little bit safer, especially if White keeps getting injured. You can rely on Timber, and this guy will get you that Arsenal defense for a cheaper price. This video will be very, very long, so yeah, buckle up and we will continue discussing teams. Moving then to Atalanta, they lost their manager, and that's interesting to pinpoint. They don't have the most amazing of fixture runs. No, I lied. They have a good fixture run, sorry. PSG is bad, but then Bruges, Slavia Praha, Marseille, Frankfurt is then Atalanta and Union. Union, yes, I think that you can get some players from Atalanta, but it's difficult to predict how it's going to happen. Karneski, good keeper last season at specific points, but Atalanta has not been good, especially with that shite manager that they have. Then it is their defenders, everything is 4.5 and 4.0, so you can get someone like Belanova, Kosuno at 4 million, then you can get Zapacosta, Hien, Jimisti, they're all at 4.5. So if they improve and showcase that this manager can lead a team, I think that they can get some amazing players into your side. Then moving into midfield, apart from Lookman, who is still 7 million, by the way, what a price. If he has left for Inter, it would have been amazing. But at the end of the day, not that great, because he didn't have a proper summer preparation and he was not playing any minutes so far, so I will be avoiding at the moment. The cheap asset here that I will take a look at is the Ketelaere, 6 million. He is good. Scamacca is 6.5, but I prefer the Ketelaere. If Maudini starts playing regularly, him at 5 million might be an option, but for now, the Ketelaere is the guy that I'm interested at the most. Moving into the goalkeepers department, then going for Atletico Bilbao. Unai Simon at 5 million, I think that's heavily overpriced, so yeah, he's not a budget pick. Defense, everything is 4.5 and 4.0, of course. If you believe that Atletico Bilbao will keep clean sheet, someone like Yuri Bericic or Vivian are your two options for now that stand out. Of course, 4 million defenders will be good to monitor as well. Moving into their midfield, here Neco Williams is at 8 million, so that's a hefty price that you have to pay for a player that hasn't played in UCL yet, but I believe that's because he's that good. Inaki Williams, it's 7 million, and everything else is under 5.5, which is a good price, but Nick Williams is the guy that I'm looking to get. And up front, 6 million is the most expensive player. If those 5 million becomes options, there will be something good to consider. Fixture wise, not ideal up until game week 3, so I would monitor them. And then Karabakh, Newcastle, Slavia Praha is the run where you might target them, especially if you're using some chips in 4 and 5. You can rely on Neko, but for now I wouldn't start with any Atletico Bilbao players. Moving to the other Atletico team, being Atletico Madrid. We start with 6 million Oblak. That's a hefty price you have to pay for a keeper and for the start of the season that they had, so avoid in my eyes. Then in defense they have Hanko, Normand and Ruggeri at 4.5, especially Lenormand, who is a Spanish international. I think will be an interesting guy to follow. Hanko at 4.5 is also an interesting option to follow. Moving then, into midfield. Here, Llorente is pretty expensive, Simone is pretty expensive, and the player that I'm interested at is this guy, Thiago Almada. He plays like a left midfielder for them, and I think that especially in 4, especially in 2, then in 3, and in 8, you can rely on that player if you're looking for a cheap asset, as he's only 5 million this year. Forward line, it's hefty prices that you have to pay for either of them, but if Sorwood nails it down, 7.5 for a striker from Atleti doesn't look that bad. Alvarez 9 million, he is expensive, but it's understandable why. Moving then, into defense of Barcelona, of goalkeeper of Barcelona. Here we have one of the best keepers this year to own. Juan Garcia is their new keeper, and if you're looking for a cheap asset into that Barcelona defense, he will be one of the guys that you can target. 4.5, it's a good price to pay. Then moving into defense, here you have some hidden gems, not so hidden because it's from Barcelona, but that's their whole defensive line. And let's say that Koundé and Kumbarsi play every game, so you'll be getting one cheap defender, but so far they haven't played every game. And Bodo, apart from being injured, which is sad to start the season with, is 5 million, and you can rely on his attacking returns and his attacking potential. 3 assists last season. He has the same as Koundé, but yeah, I would quite fancy him. And here are the 2 cheap options, 4.5 for Araujo and Garcia. I think any of them might be an okay option to get at some point, especially if you know that he's starting every game. A little bit tricky now with Baude's injury. We'll see how they will fare in the league before the first UCL game, but 4.5 defender from Barcelona is a good asset to target in my eyes. You see if that will work out for you or not. Moving then into midfield, sadly here the best players are expensive. Yeah, Yamal is 10 million, not even 9.5, so you're paying the same price for Saka as Rafinha, which is absurdish. Yamal at 10 million, Pedri is at 7.5. Then you have someone like Gavi at 6.5 is interesting, but Pedri with his man of the match rewards has boosted himself to a very, very hefty price of 7.5, which is a lot. Someone like Rafinha with 13 goals and 9 assists will be interesting to follow how he performs. Of course, there is a looming threat of Rashford, but this of 13 assists and 9 goals, if he keeps performing that way and showcases himself in the UCL, he has not the ideal start, but game week 1 to 4 you can rely on him. Apart from PSG game, then 5 is Chelsea. It's not that hard, and he has a very, very good run of fixtures. If you use the limitless somewhere, you can stack up on both Yamal and Rafinha, and I don't think you will be making a mistake. But yeah, 13 goals and 9 assists. If he can come close to those numbers, this guy will be make a mockery out of his price. But for now, he's not that cheap to start the season with. And up front, Leva is 9.5, Ferran at 7 million will probably start UCL, but you'll be losing him at any point when Leva returns. And Rashford at 7 million is also a great option. Moving then into the next team of Bayern Munich. Let's see what they Neuer 6 million, not a fan of. Chelsea, Paphos, Brugge, yeah, you can rely on him, but yeah, I am not sure of Bayern's defense at the moment for that price. Moving then into the defensive department, Jonathan Tah sadly is 5.5, but So Hincapié will be 5 million into Arsenal's defense, another left back for a cheaper price than Gabriel, but someone like Upamecano will be 5 million, so he can be an interesting option during the season. I don't know why Kim is 0 points from last season, because I think they made a mistake with his points, but yeah, Kim is a good option as well if any of them nails down the starting role. In midfield, I think that this guy is heavily underpriced. 8 million, he will make a mockery out of his price. Everyone else is cheap. If Gnabry nails down a starting position, you can say Gnabry for 6.5, good to have, but I genuinely prefer Ulize, because when Musiala returns, it will be Musiala, Luis Diaz and Ulize in that midfield every damn week. Speaking about Luis Diaz, this year he is a forward and he is at 7.5, so he's an interesting option to consider at 7.5 to start the season if you want to slightly cover Kane, who is 10.5 and is one of the most expensive assets this year. Moving then into the team of Dortmund, another German side we'll talk about. Kobel, 5 million. I think he's way better than Unai Simon for that price. Moving then into defense, and here we have some good assets to consider. Rierson and Schlotterbecker, 5 million, but everyone else is cheap. John might be on penalties with 4.5 price. Good. Ben Sabiani and Svensson, 4.5, amazing as well. Sule at 4.5, good as well. But the cheap asset of Anton, I think, is one of the best options this year. Copenhagen and Matchday 3 is the first game where I would consider him, but then after game week 4, I can get him for my team and be happy with the performance. And with 4 million, you're basically paying him the minimum price that you have to pay, so that's a good asset to own. Moving then into the midfield, we are looking at some midfielders for 7 million. Adeyemi, if he keeps playing as a striker at 7 million, brilliant asset. The other asset that I might consider is Joe Bellingham at 6, not nailed down, but as center attacking mid, I think that he will do the job for them if he nails down the position. And forwards, of course, it's going to be Girassi at 8 million to consider. Penalties until John is here, and he was the top scorer, one of the top scorers last season, because Rafi also had 13 goals onto his name. Now, moving into the next asset, it's going to be it's going to be Benfica, and Trubin at 4.5 is a great keeper, one of the best 4.5 options out there. Moving into the defense, what I like is Otamendi is 5 million, but everyone else is 4.5 and below. That's basically their starting defense. And if any of them gets injured, you are getting a 4.0 starting player. This guy Araujo is 4 million, so you have to monitor if he keeps starting or not. And Benfica has one of the good starts against Karabakh. Gets a little bit trickier, but until 4, Newcastle and Leverkusen, yeah, it's not easy, but it's Benfica and they're not a targetable team in my eyes. Then into midfield, what I find interesting is this guy, Aursnes, I butchered that name, but at 5 million, he is an option, especially to start against Karabakh. Great asset. And then we're moving into the forward line where I think potential can be exploited. Pavlidis at 7 million, good player with good price. Skeljo Durp, not every game playing, but 5 million as well. Then we move to Ivanovic, who is 5 million if he keeps getting those players. I missed a midfielder, sorry. I wanted to speak. No, I mentioned Aursnes, sorry. But yeah, you can have a very cheap starting attacker from Benfica if you fancy that. Moving then to Bodo Glimt. Keeper 4.5, no thank you. Defenders at 5 million and 4.5, no thank you. This guy, Southness, is their captain, is the only option that I consider from that midfield. But the forward here that I might consider picking for my team is this guy, Peter Hauk. I think that Bodo Glimt can have a nice start. Slavia Praha Spurs. They are an interesting European side to consider. They're difficult to play in Norway, so the hard fixtures of Monaco, Slavia Praha can be avoided from Spurs and Monaco's perspective. Then they have Juve because Kauk, I think, can score a lot of goals. He's their starting striker, so I might consider him as my cheap options. There are several 5.5 to 6 million strikers that I might want to get into because, oh no, yeah, that sounded sus. I might want to put into my team because I want to spend a little bit more money there. And if you get a penalty taker, a starting striker at 5.5, it's going to be good to have, and I can drop someone like Gakpo that you see in my side. That's about Bodo Glimt. I don't want to spend too much time on these teams. I'm still on the letter C. Oh my god, and we're 20 minutes into the video. But yeah, I want to discuss every possible option so you have it down there. And I will try to put some maybe timestamps for you to follow easier and jump into teams that you want to see. Goalkeeper Sanchez, 5 million. Okay price to pay. Defenders, it's something interesting because you can get a starting defender until Kowi is out for 4.5. I think Tosin is the most nailed defender together with Chalobah at 4.5. I think that you can have them in your team. Someone like Kukureo is a little bit more expensive, but a 5.5 is he's below the most expensive defenders, and he's still a good option. If Gusto is nailed over Reece James, I can target him, but until Reece James gets injured, I cannot guarantee that. So Tosin is a defender currently in my side because Chelsea are an okay side and their fixture run is not that hard if you ask me after game week 3. So yeah, I might consider dropping Tosin for the start of the season. Moving into midfield, they have a lot of expensive midfielders. Palmer, Garnacho has not been added yet. We don't know who will start. Estevao, if he starts starting every week, he's 6 million, but no one can guarantee you that. And up front, we have some cheap asset in Joao Pedro. Cheap in a sense compared to other team strikers. 7.5. He hasn't played in UCL, so I don't want to risk it with him. But 7.5 will be a good price at some point this season. Moving into the team of Brugge. Goalkeeper, 5 million. No, thank you. Defensive options, 5 million, 4.5. Yeah, they have a 4 million option that might play, which is okay, but their best defender is a midfielder, and that is this guy Says. If you're looking for a 4.5 midfielder that gets attacking returns, this is your guy. He plays as a left back, but he scores a lot. So if you're lacking some money and want to get a 4.5 midfielder, this is the guy to consider. Of course, he plays for Brugge and he might not score a lot of goals, but if there is a goal from that left side, he will be involved. Sadly, in Matchday 3 and 4, he has one of the most awful fixtures to consider. So I'll be a little bit hesitant there. Vanaken is an attacking midfielder that I prefer. Stankovic is a box-to-box that I prefer. But for now, I would be not picking any Brugge players. And up front, they have so many attackers. Solis is their best attacker, but he's a forward, so I would avoid. And the best player that you can go for is this guy, Tresoji, 5 million starter. And here against Kairat and Marseille, you can probably rely on him, but for now I would be avoiding his this team as in general. Moving into Copenhagen, it's a little bit difficult to predict what will happen, but we have a starting keeper here at 4 million. So the first starting keeper at 4 million that we're discussing. And if you want to rely on Copenhagen, especially in home games, they have an okay start of the fixture run, so you can rely on Copenhagen, but still I think there are better keepers to discuss. Moving into defense, 4.5, no thank you. Midfielders, moving into, yeah, they are 5 and 4.5, but exactly how much they will return to you, not a lot. Probably I prefer Bodo Glimt over Copenhagen. And every forward here is 5 million, so whoever starts, you can get him for 5 million apiece. Then moving into the other team of Frankfurt. Two keepers at 4 million. Good. Really good. If you want, they are playing okayish. I want to check later on who's their starting keeper, but the fixture run is not amazing. Atletico, Liverpool. Atletico is not that tough, but still, yeah, Frankfurt have been performing okay, but yeah, I feel like it's Grau that starts, but yeah, any of the starting keeper at 4 million, good to have. Defensive options from Frankfurt, 4.5 all around, not interested. Midfielders, it gets a little bit interesting now. This guy, Chan Uzun, is their attacking midfielder, so you can rely on to him. This guy, Bahoya, is their left winger. You can rely on him for 5 million. He is cheap. And one of the best assets this year, it's this guy, Burkhardt. 5 million starting striker. Good. Good to have. I think that you can benefit a lot. And you can replace him with the Bodo Glimt forward if Frankfurt turn out to be this good side. Moving then to Galatasaray is going to be the next team. Yes. Oh, we're moving swiftly now on to G. So keeper 4.5, not interesting. Defense is where I'm interested in. This guy, Eumali, sometimes in difficult games plays as a left winger, and at 4 million left winger, Bodo Glimt, Union, Ajax, Frankfurt, it doesn't look that hard. As a defender to rotate, it doesn't look that hard. Of course, you can consider him playing as a defender in most of the games, but when he plays as a left winger, why not? Why the fuck not? Ermali is what a good asset may look at. Then moving into midfield, a lot of expensive midfielders. This guy, Sara, plays as an attacking midfielder, so you can get him for 5 million. We have some nice 5 million options. And the other player that plays as a right wing is this guy, Agyun, 5 million, but I don't think he will start every game as a right midfielder, especially now with Gundogan. I think that some rotation may happen regularly, so I want to see firstly how they prepare. And up front they have Osman for 7.5 and Icardi for 6.5. If Icardi can nail down the starting position at 6.5, I would quite fancy picking him in my team, but for now I would be avoiding. Moving then into Inter Milan. Sommer, 6 million, not cheap, but for me the best keeper at that price point. Defensive assets, I don't fancy most of them. I don't think that apart from Akanji anyone is. I think Akanji and Bastoni can be considered nailed down. So if we know the other 4.5 defender that starts being Pisek or a Cherby or someone like that, or De Vries, we can pick him, but I prefer Dumfries, I prefer Bastoni, I prefer Zomer to pick from that side. Moving into midfielders, Çalhanoğlu is 7 million. Everything else is a little bit tricky who to pick. They're mostly center midfielders, not very interested into them. And up front, Lautaro and Thuram are coming at a hefty price, so I don't think they're that cheap enablers for sure. Moving then into next team, being Juve. Di Gregorio, one of my favorite 4.5 options in defense, and they face Dortmund, Villarreal, Sporting, Bodo, Paphos. You can keep Di Gregorio for a long period of time. Moving then into defenders, 5 million, 4.5, Gachi probably a good option, Lloyd Kelly probably a good option if you are considering a defensive asset from Juve. In my opinion, the best 6.5 midfielder this year is Kenan Yildiz. I think that he is an amazing asset that will get you a lot of points. So yeah, I will consider getting Yildiz into my side. I quite like his potential and what he can get for my team. So yeah, he is in. And of course, now Vlahovic and Jonathan David, but Jonathan David is the favorite here to start at 6 million. I might start him even over Kenan Yildiz. I am not joking you. I'm saving 0.5 and then I'm saving a lot of money over Gakpo. I can improve the Tosin spot and then I can improve Yildiz spot. You're basically seeing the three players that I'm looking to improve here onto the screen. But yeah, here I'm saving 2 million. improving this and improving you this for a 7 million midfielder, it might work out well, but I might keep even the 6.5. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, having a 6 million option is a great thing to consider. In that striker spot, you can rotate him with that 5.5 to 6 million striker that you'll be getting in probably in one of your spots. Moving then into the next team, being Kairat. Picking Kairat, 4.5 keeper, not interested into the defensive options. I found two players. First of all is this guy Mata, 4 million, but you have other 4 million options. And the other guy is this Mrinsky guy, 4.5, but sometimes he plays as a right winger in tough games. Moving into midfield, the player Gromkyo I'm looking at. Yes, this guy, he's their left winger, 5 million. If you find it interesting to pick him against Paphos, Copenhagen, Olympiacos, Brugge, you can rely on to him. And forward, this is their best guy, yes, Satpayev. If he played as a striker, it would have been good. This guy has been playing in a Bulgarian side as of recently, but now he's in Champions League. What a skyrocket. But at 5 million, if he can start nailing down the starting spot, it will be good to have. But Kairat, genuinely, I will avoid it. Moving then into the next team, I think it's Leverkusen. Yes, Flecken at 5 million, goodbye. Defenders, Grimaldo at 6. If he's on pens, 6 million. But Leverkusen have been awful. I don't know who's their manager as of now. So yeah, I would be avoiding. Midfielders, I missed a defender, but yeah, it's Kwanzaa that interests me at 4.5, but many better teams and defenders at 4.5. Midfielders, no thank you. Literally no thank you as of now. And forwards, apart from Schick, no thank you. But yeah, I don't want to touch anyone from that team and put him into my side. Next up, it's Liverpool, and it will come with some expensive assets. Alisson, 6 million, understandable. Defensive option, here I like that Kerkez is 5 million, and if he starts playing in UCL at 5 million, he will be a good asset to have. Van Dijk currently being into my side, 6 million. He is a good asset to own for a particular run of fixtures. Probably might swap him here and there, but Liverpool, if they keep clean sheets, I don't know if they will. With Atletico, Galatasaray, it may look tough to keep their clean sheet. Probably one of the players that is not with a nailed spot in my team, but I want to have a Liverpool asset in. And 60 points when they reached only the round of 16 is not a bad score for a defender. He doesn't score often, but he can keep clean sheets in against a lot of teams. So I would see how I would approach it, but probably might avoid and might pick Konate because they didn't buy Gay. And for the same team, I'm getting a little bit cheaper of an asset. Midfielders, here we read expensive plays. Salah 10.5, Wirtz 9 million. Yeah, the other assets are cheap, but they're not that interesting. And forwards, Isaac at 9 million, Gakpo at 7.5, and Ekitike at 8 million. If you think any of them will be playing, you can pick him, but yeah, I cannot guarantee probably anyone apart from Isaac, but probably not to start the season. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see who will pick into our sides. Moving then into the next team of Man City. Now they have Donnarumma in goal, 6 million. I was hoping for Trafford at 4.5, but it's not going to happen. A defensive asset that I fancy a lot here is Ryan Ait-Nouri. Napoli, Monaco, Villarreal, Dortmund. I think that it's a okay fixture run. Of course, 7 and 8 are their best fixtures, but at the end of the day, I quite fancy Ait-Nouri as a defensive asset this year. Midfield, Foden is hell of expensive. Rodri is hell of expensive. Reinders at 6.5 is another good 6.5 options. This guy, Oscar Bob, I'm interested in, and I might take a look at and pick him over Hughes, by the way, and this would allow me to pick a more expensive player in attack, but we'll see how it goes, or a cheaper player in attack and avoid. We'll see how it happens, but yeah, I quite like having the the option to pick Oscar Bob, who has been playing well in the Prem so far. Up front, of course, Haaland comes at a good price of 10.5, so he's not considered cheap in any sense at all. Moving into Marseille, honestly, I don't fancy a lot of their players. 4.5 keeper, then 4.5 defense overall, then moving into midfielders. Paphos at 6 million can be a good player, I would say, but not someone that I might be that interested in. Then it's the forward line of Greenwood, yeah, and Aubameyang at 6.5. Now this is an interesting pick that I might consider, but yeah, for now I would be avoiding it as a team to consider. Their fixture run, not that hard, but Real Madrid first fixture away, yeah, puts me off immediately from them. Moving then into Monaco. Starting with the goalkeeper, 4.5 Hradecki, I like a lot. I think they will improve as a team. And yeah, Brugge to start, Bodo, Glimt in 4, Paphos in 5. You can keep him for a very good fixture run. Then moving into the defensive assets of 4.5 and above, no thank you. Midfielders, Acheloche is the best 5 million midfielder by far. He's just criminally underrated. Brugge to start, Bodo, Glimt, Paphos, yeah, exactly. Forward line, yeah, cheap assets, but I heavily prefer Acheloche from that side. Moving then into Napoli and picking the goalkeepers. 4.0 merit to start the season. The fixture against City, Sporting, PSV Frankfurt, probably against Karabakh in game week 5, sorry. Will be good to have, and Copenhagen as well. Defensive options, 5.5 and 4.5 and above, just pick the 4 million keeper if you're looking for defensive options. Midfielder, I'm interested in Politano, 5.5, good player, right winger, and McTominay, basically a second striker, 7 million. If he keeps scoring, KDB is 8, that's expensive for me. And up front, they got Raspadori joined Atleti. They bought Højlund, so yeah, probably would avoid. Swiftly moving into the next team, it's Newcastle. In goalkeepers department, Pope, 5 million for Pope, goodbye. Defensive options, everyone is 4.5 that you care of. So if you want a defender from Newcastle to face Barcelona, be my guest. 4.5 is everyone from there. Midfielders, 7 million for Gordon and Elanga. It's a good price to consider, and at some point might be good, especially when they face the yeah, not the easiest of fixtures. And forward, it's only Osua as of yet. It's interesting to see Wissa and Wolfenmate, how much they will be. Then moving into Olympiacos as a team and going for their goalkeeper to start, 4.5, no thank you. 4.5 all around the defense, not for me. Sorry. Midfielders, I think we have this guy Pneumodis. This sounds like a newness. But yeah, 5 million, their left winger. It will be good to consider. And they have a 6 million starting El Kabi as an attacker. So yeah, Taremi is interesting to follow. He's 7 million as a starter. Paphos first week might be good to consider, but then it's Arsenal and Barca. A little bit tough of a fixture run, if you ask me. Moving then into Paphos, I don't think anyone will consider any of them, but let's briefly go through them. 4.5, goodbye. This guy, Pepe. Bruno, sorry. Bruno is 4 million defender. I quite fancy him if you're looking for a defender from Paphos at some point. And their penalty taker was Pepe, who I mentioned, 5.5 if you're looking for a cheap enabler from Paphos. Yeah, David Luiz needs to join the team, by the way. Forward line, yeah, 5.5 and up and below, so you can consider them at any point if you feel like doing it. PSG, starting with the goalkeeper, and that's criminal solution. 4.5 PSG starting keeper. Come on, please. Come on. 4.5 starting keeper. They just made a mistake here, and I might take a look and pick PSG keeper as a whole and keep him because that's the PSG keeper. And I might drop Zomer because this is the PSG keeper. Did I mention it? 4.5. Yeah. Yep. Another mistake that they made is this. 4 million for Zabarny. 4 freaking million. So I can have 8.5 double up from PSG. What do you think about it? 8.5. I'm paying less than the price of Dembele for 2 players from PSG. If they start, of course. Of course, Pacho and Marquinhos are their starting player. But if an injury appears to any of them, Zabarny, for the price that they paid, 4 million. Yep. I might reconsider my goalkeeper partnership because PSG, if I can nail down 4.5, be my guest. Literally be my guest. Midfield, 8 million for Doe and Kvara, 7.5 for Barcola, Vitinha is 7.5, João Neves is 6 million, so you can consider him into your side after the hat-trick that he scored. He has been scoring more and more goals, so I think that you can rely on to him. And forwards is Dembele, who is injured now, by the way, at 10 million. Nope. Moving then into PSV goalkeeper's position. Well, that video is going to be very long, guys. Sorry, but yeah, I want to go into all of the teams, and we are 7 teams away from the end. Cover, goodbye. Then we have defenders, 4.5 and a 4 million somewhere, but PSV fixture run. Yeah, Union and Leverkusen. Okay, not that bad of a fixture run. So we might consider someone from PSV. Especially in their midfield, because there is a player called Van Bommel, who is 5.5 and is their left winger, so that's good to consider. But the best asset from them is this guy, Plea. 5 million starting forward. Yep. Good. 5 million from a PSV perspective. I might start Union and Leverkusen with a PSV player and here just pick another 5 million player and just improve everywhere else. Yep, and then move to Bodo Glimt, by the way. Yeah, Bodo, they were facing, I want just to return because I forgot their fixtures. Let me just check quickly. I promise you it will be quick. Slavia Praha, yeah. And then Monaco. Their easy run is at the start, though. It gets harder and harder. Their PSV run is mixed. At the end, yeah, the good fixture run is for them at the start as well. So you either pick player or you pick Bodo Glimt asset. That's it, basically. But yeah, let's move to Karabakh. Not a lot to discuss here, but a team that we need to mention. 4.5 keeper, no thank you. Defensive option, it's 4.5. Guess what? No thank you. Midfield, this guy Zobir is their left winger. This guy Andrade is their right winger. Andrade right, Zobir left, if you want to have them. And up front, I don't think anyone is interesting. 5.5, but yeah, it's still Karabakh. Their fixture run, it's the easiest that it can be from their perspective, but it gets harder and harder. Speaking about Real Madrid now, starting with goalkeeper, Courtois, 6 million, understandable. Defense, Hausen is the best option at 4.5 by far in the game, in my opinion, to start the season. They start with Kairat and Marseille. Yeah, 4.5. This guy will make a mockery out of his price. 26 million, but someone like Carvajal at 4.5 keeps playing, but I don't know until when. Fran Garcia is 4.5 if Carreras gets injured, but Hausen nailed 4.5 asset. We will be there. Midfielder, Vini is a midfielder 9.5. Bellingham is a midfielder 8.5. Rodrigo is a midfielder 8.5. Those are expensive assets. Valverde is cheap asset, and this player is someone that I'm interested in heavily. 6 million for Arda Güler, it makes sense in my eyes, but I already have 2 players and I don't want to start with any team with more than 2 players. That's one of my rules during the season. And then forward is Mbappe 10.5 straight into my squad. Moving then to Slavia Praha. Not a lot to discuss here in my eyes, but 4.5 keeper, 4.5 defense, that just kills them as assets. Cheap midfielders, but Slavia Praha, come on, if you look at the fixture run, Bodo, Glimt, Inter, Atalanta, Arsenal, Atletico, Bilbao, yeah, it doesn't get easy. The pot 4 fixture is hard, apart from Paphos, but that's last week. And forwards 6 million and below, but we have way better options at those prices. Moving then into Sporting, and here I want to mention Rui Silva, goodbye. But yeah, their defenders. First of all, Katomu, you're going to ask why he is that expensive. Because he's out of position right winger. And that's a very good thing to consider. Right winger at 4.5. Brilliant. And this guy Fresneda is 4 million and he's their starting fullback. So yeah, a player to consider for sure. Moving then into midfield. I think they made a mistake. Trincao at 6 and Pedro at 6. With that start, I might be there for one of the players, but yeah, Fresneda for sure plays into my side. And forwards, Luis Suarez is 5 million. I think another mistake that they made. This might be the striker that I start the season with. 5 million, Sporting Lisbon starting striker. Yep. What can I say? Sometimes they make stupid decisions. 5 million starting striker, come on. 5 million Vicario, get out of here. 5 million starting defense. Apart from Poro, get out of here. When we have 4.5 options. Sorry, midfield. Kudus at 7 and 6.5 for Johnson, if they keep playing, will be good. Especially probably Kudus with the start that they're having. Bodo away, Villarreal at home, Monaco, Copenhagen. I think that I'll be picking some Spurs player into my side. We'll see where. And forward line, Cole Muani at 7.5 will be interesting. I don't know who will play, Swanke, Cole or Richarlison, but for now I will be avoiding any of them and probably will pick a midfielder from my side. Someone like Brennan Johnson makes a lot of sense if you ask me. And the last two teams will keep it probably short, under 50 minutes. Union, starting keeper at Schreppen at 4 million, not a bad sign. Then we go to defense and we pick no one. There is a 4.0 option, but yeah, it's Union, come on. Midfielders, we go at Hajj. This guy is their attacking midfielder at 5 million, and their forward is Rodriguez at 5.5, an option at some point, but yeah, we move swiftly. And now to Villarreal, a very interesting side to consider, because I think they've started the season well. We start with a keeper, Junior at 4 million, good. Fixture run, Spurs, Juve, City, Paphos, not ideal. After game week 3 is ideal, so I might consider dropping them for now. But yeah, defensive options, we don't have that much. 4.5 is everyone. Midfielders, the best option from them disappeared, being Pino. He is now Aston Villa player, so he's out of the equation. And this guy, Ayong, also is not here, so yep. Did they move him to midfielder? No. So no Villarreal option that is cheap apart from their keeper up front. So yeah, not something that I want to consider because yeah, they're cheap assets. This will be the end of the video, guys. 50 minutes of cheap enablers and best budget picks that you should consider for match day 1. A lot will change during then, until then, but yeah, I will probably make some adjustments to my team after seeing the prices of Chevalier, of Suarez from Sporting. These guys will be probably not going anywhere else apart from into my team. So we will make some adjustment, but I will keep you updated with every update that happens into my site. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being part of the community. Once again, if you want to subscribe, you can click the button. If you want to join the mini league, also buttons in the description, or you can type in that code. A lot of more UCL fantasy and FPL content will be coming your way. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.